Once upon a time, long, long ago, people used to tell each other stories. And this is how they used to begin. A long time ago. Then words would paint images of countries far away, of people never seen, and of events and incidents that shaped the world. Then the world seemed to shrink a bit, bringing these strange lands and people a little closer home, making them familiar and friendlier. Now, where do I begin to tell the story? Oh, there it is again. Story. There is no getting away from storytelling. We would learn nothing, know nothing, if storytelling was not such an important part of who we are. 2 plus 2 is 4, sure, but that would be so boring to us children if the teachers did not build a story around it. Saisha has 2 toffees, I gave her 2 more. How many does she have? 4 then became a delightful ending to a beautiful short story. And this is how we were introduced to addition in mathematics. Many a summers under the summer sky and many winter afternoons have been spent listening to stories. And what really do the books tell us if not stories? Tucked deep into the folds of the blankets and an elder's love, stories have flowed. Every person, every culture, every part of the world has its own stories to tell. They say that the best way to know about a person or place or time is to hear stories about them. It is so boring to memorize dates of an event that happened in history if the story of the event is not known. I am sure no one would have remembered anything about the beginning of the world if there was not a story of the Big Bang or about Adam and Eve. Stories have been spun to celebrate occasions, to warn people about repeating mistakes of the past, for people to remember heroes. Stories that emerged during the pandemic will forever etch this phase in our minds and the suffering that some saw. Stories have been built to pass on life lessons to young girls and boys, which is why in schools, EVS is being taught through stories, because people remember stories. Anything we know, have known, or will probably ever know has been passed down to us through stories. Storytelling and the urge to bring a story to life has been essential to the human nature. Stories and the art of telling them bring warmth and connection like nothing else. They entertain us and educate us. And who doesn't like a good story? From the news in the morning to the classroom gossip. Everyone loves a good story, especially a good story told well. Stories and their telling created and healed, taught and shared. It became a universal language, one that was understood by everyone. But storytelling seems to be disappearing. In this age of technology where even books can be heard rather than read, people don't seem to have the time to tell stories or even listen to them. Thus, imaginations are becoming faint. And where are the storytellers? Earlier, all grandparents were storytellers. It seasoned over generations with bags full of tales to tell. Nowadays, we don't seem to have the time to sit with our grandparents to hear those tales. Storytelling is an art. It is like painting a picture, but only with words. An art that has been used for millions of years by all our ancestors to pass down stories, learnings, and teachings through generations. Storytelling requires voice modulation, good imagination, requires one to be able to tell the story engagingly, and requires one to be boundless. But most importantly, storytelling requires a deep love for stories and for telling those stories.